OnePlus may be a little late to the truly wireless game, but that isn't necessarily a bad thing. So are the OnePlus Buds worth the wait? Let's find out in today's review. Hey guys, Ash here from C4E Tech, and if you do end up liking what you see here, please consider subscribing and turning on notifications by hitting that bell icon. Let's now get started. So these are the OnePlus Buds. They come nestled inside this carrying case. We also get a user guide, a safety and warranty information booklet, and finally, OnePlus style red Type-C cable. That's it for the box contents. Let's now take a look at the buds themselves. Well, first off, I love the color here. OnePlus is calling it the Nord Blue, so no prizes for guessing where that inspiration came from. And if sky blue isn't quite your style, then the OnePlus Buds come in regular white and grey as well. One of the biggest reasons behind truly wireless earphones taking off has been the portability factor. And while the carrying case here isn't the smallest around, at 37 grams, it is pretty light. Lighter than even the Enco W31. And yes, I am going to be comparing it to the Encos pretty often in this video. Two reasons. One, they are kinda in the same price segment. Two, for the price, the Enco W31 is the best sounding TWS solution that we've tested thus far. Okay, so build-wise, this is all plastic with a metal hinge and a Type-C charging port at the bottom. It's kind of shaped like a flattened egg, like a mashup between the Realme Buds Air and the Google Pixel Buds. Anyway, it's light, easy to slip into a pocket and carry around. Flipping it open is just as easy. Just like that, can be done with one finger. Oppo, I hope you're taking notes here. The hinge is nice and stiff and even closes with a satisfying snap. As for the buds, they have a nice and snug fit, so even if we do this, they are not gonna be coming out. The semi-in-ear style design was a great fit for me. Remember this guys, once you have them inside your ear, you gotta twist them something like this. The buds then naturally fit into the ear cavity and makes for a great seal with the ear canal. I wore them for a few hours at a stretch and didn't feel any fatigue at all. That being said, when we did try the shake test, they did fall out quite a few times, so probably not something you're gonna be using a lot when jogging or at the gym. That is a shame because the OnePlus Buds, they do come with an IPX4 certification, so a splash of water or sweat shouldn't really affect it. So we've covered build, we've covered design. Let's now talk about the most important part of any earbud review video, the sound. The OnePlus Buds, they come with 13.4mm drivers, and the sound signature here is quite bass heavy. That being said, because of the semi-in-ear design, we don't quite get the perfect seal. So the thump that we expect with bass-heavy songs, it's not the best in class. Also, while they can get pretty loud, a bit of outside noise will always leak in. Now, that might not be a negative for everybody because you're not really isolated from your environment all the time and you're gonna have an idea of what's going around you, so that is a pro in certain situations. So overall, when it comes to just pure sound quality, I'm still gonna personally rate the Oppo Enco W31 over these. Though to be fair, OnePlus does provide a lot of ways to tune these buds if you own a OnePlus device. So codec-wise, we have support for high-quality audio or AAC, but when the OnePlus Buds are paired with the OnePlus Nord, we can go into direct tuning options in settings and then turn on earphone sound enhancement that's tuned specifically for these buds. Similarly, with other recent OnePlus flagships, basically everything OnePlus 6 and above, we should get 3D stereo audio thanks to Dolby Atmos being on board. Now I say should because while this is a feature that should be available on all OnePlus devices from 6 onwards, as of filming this video, we could only get it to work with the 8 Pro and the Nord. So it's not just for the audio settings, we tried changing the double tap functionality on the 7T Pro and that did not work either. But this is something I'm sure OnePlus will fix with an OTA soon. But the real problem here is going to be customizing and controlling the buds because it's an absolute no-go if you do not have a supported OnePlus device. But before I get into all that, let me first walk you guys through the pairing process. It's very fast and simple since we have Google Fast Pair on board. Pops up as a card, click on it and boom, done. That's it. We can also long press this button on the back of the case and the light starts flashing white and we can pair it through our Bluetooth menu. Both processes work seamlessly and once paired, reconnection is pretty much instantaneous. As for the controls, we can double tap on either bud to change tracks, double tap to answer calls, hold 3 seconds for quick switch, and hold 5 seconds to reject a call. And that is pretty much everything you get, unless you own a OnePlus 6 or above. Now with a OnePlus phone, we were able to customize the double tap function. We could set it to pause or play, previous or next track, and even wake up the Google Assistant. Now me personally, I don't use Google Assistant as much on a phone, and play and pause is handled by wear detection sensors. So when you take one or both out of your ear, the music automatically stops and it resumes when you put them back in. It's reliable, it's snappy, so what I've set my double taps to is double tap the right bud to skip to the next track, left for the previous track, and that control scheme works fine for me. But I can see this being a problem for a lot of people, especially those without OnePlus phones. And sadly, that's just the tip of the iceberg. The low latency game mode, which drops the latency of the OnePlus Buds down to 103 milliseconds, is only applicable in Fanatic mode, which, you guessed it, is again exclusive to OnePlus devices. Comparing it to the Enco W31, we get a lot more functionality through the touch controls, and the latency is lower at 94 milliseconds. And best of all, it is not tied down to Oppo devices only. Outside of games though, the latency on the OnePlus Buds are just fine. We tested it out with Netflix and Amazon Prime. There was no delay in between dialogue, of course, even with non-OnePlus phones. Speaking of dialogue, let me just sneak in a word about the call quality. The OnePlus Buds come with 3 mics on board and that provide environmental noise cancellation. So that means we get excellent call quality. In my testing, the person at the other end could hear me clearly, and thanks to the inclusion of Bluetooth 5.0, I could even leave my phone and stroll around the room and the sound quality never took a hit. Now calls aren't the only thing that the OnePlus Buds excel at. Battery life, that's pretty stellar too. OnePlus claims that the 35 mAh battery within the Buds can last for up to 7 hours of music playback or 4 hours of calls. During my testing at around 80% volume and AAC turned on, I found the Buds lasted me about 5 hours, which is still pretty impressive. Now the case itself comes with a 420 mAh battery inside, and OnePlus rates the combined battery life of the Buds in the case at around 30 hours, exactly double of what we get with the Enco W31. I guess they did put that bigger case size to some good use. Not just that, we have fast charging on board, which means just 10 minutes of charging provides 10 hours of battery life. And no, this does not need Warp Charge 30T. Any regular 10 watt or greater fast charger should do the trick. Okay, so here's a slight caveat with that 10-hour playback thing. I mean, of course, since the Buds themselves are rated for 7 hours at max, this basically gets you 2 hours of playback with the Buds, after which you put them back in the case, top up, and that way you get up to 10 hours. The complete charge cycle, it takes an hour and 20 minutes. With OnePlus devices, we also get a card that lets us know about the charge levels of each individual earbud as well as the charging case. And yes, you can use one bud at a time, works perfectly fine. We also have a charge indicator LED on the charging case. With the Buds in the case, the LED goes green for over 20% charge and red when it dips under that threshold. With the Buds out, the case glows green when it has enough juice to power the Buds one complete time, and red when it can't do that. Overall, a pretty intuitive system, and I have to say battery life and call quality are the 2 biggest pros of the OnePlus Buds. So that leads us to the eventual question, is it worth spending 4,990 rupees on? Well, if you really like the design, personally I'm a huge fan of the blue Buds, and if the battery life is very important to you and you own a OnePlus device, then sure, this one's a no-brainer. This is probably something you should get if you want a TWS spare that you're going to really enjoy. But if you don't have a OnePlus device and you're okay with a little bit of a compromise on battery life, then I would say just save 1,000 rupees and get the Oppo Enco W31 instead. Yes, you're losing out on fast charge, the quick switch, and the insane battery life, but you are getting better latency for gaming, a more balanced sound profile, a dedicated bass mode, better seal thanks to the in-ear design, and overall better controls. So yeah, that's been my take on the OnePlus Buds. Now I want to know what you think. Agree, disagree, however you feel, let me know in the comments below. And with that, we get to the end of this video. Thumbs up, thumbs down based on whatever you felt about it. Subscribe, turn on notifications by hitting that bell icon if you haven't yet. And thanks a lot for watching. Till next time, my name's Ash. You've been watching C4E Tech, and I'm signing off for now. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.